Are you a woman who has a hard time asking for and reaching out for support, or maybe just right now in your life you feel like you could really use more support but you're not really sure how to go about it? If that is you, I believe you will love this video because I am talking about women supporting women in today's video. Welcome to True You. My name is Danielle Morrow and I am your presence coach. Recently, the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've really been in this space of support, of setting intentions, kind of praying to the universe for more support in my life, because I've been putting myself out in the world. I'm becoming more visible. And so I've realized how important support is, and especially as a woman who has been very successful and independent my whole life, right? Like very high functioning, successful, driven, and been able to do a lot of stuff by myself in my life. But recently I've been realizing really just how important support is. And so synchronistically, I've had all of these things come into my life around support. So about 2 weeks ago, I actually reached out to someone for support. I was having this experience that's actually a wound and a pattern of mine, and I reached out. And in this, I won't go into the details of this specific circumstance, but in this example, in the past, what I would have done and what I have done many times in my life is disconnect, contract, shrink myself, and go into this, wanting to avoid and not participate. And so, right, that actually, when you do that, and I know probably all of us do that to some degree or have before in our lives, it actually really has like big consequences. So it's right, and I was really feeling like that's what I was gonna do. It's like that urge that it comes up, and it's like, oh, okay, fine, I'm just gonna like disconnect. But instead I reached out, and I'm so glad I did, because like just the effects of that, I feel like in these last 2 weeks there's nothing like big that I can give you an example of, but it feels like the result of that is like literally changing the course of my life, just from reaching out for support in that one example, right? So, and then last night, I was on a call with a beautiful community of women, and the topic was support, and I learned about the challenge that's happening right now, the challenge accepted, women supporting women. And so it's just interesting. For the last month or so, I've really been in this space of like asking for support, and I've had the stuff around these experiences around support just like coming up in my life. And this, by the way, is a good example of, as we open to greater depths of who we are, we actually start to see and experience more synchronicities in our life. It starts to feel more magical. So this is an example of that, right? Like I set the intention for support about a month ago, and it's like these things have shown up. These examples, these cases of support have started showing up. It's like everywhere now, like support. It's like showing up everywhere in my life. So I just wanted to, in view of the Women Supporting Women challenge that's just happening right now, and in view of the call I had last night about support, I wanted to make a video on this. And so I want to invite you to see where in your life you can extend more support. And it doesn't have to be a grand gesture, right? It can be something as simple as, I'm a presence coach. It could be something as simple as being present with somebody. Like really truly being present with somebody is such a big act of kindness and support. And in whatever other ways you feel like you can extend more support in your life. And also, what are the ways, or where in your life can you ask for more support and receive more support? Because I believe this is huge in our culture, especially as women. We have all these stories around, or blocks around, why we can't, or that we don't just simply ask for support. Like I said, this has been big in my own life. One of my stories has been like the fear of rejection. Scared of rejection, right? So it's like you're so scared of rejection that you just don't ask for support, because if you get rejected, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna sting, like it's actually going to hurt, it's not gonna feel good. So we just avoid it altogether so that we don't have to experience the hurt. But the thing is, it's like, it's okay if we happen to get rejected, if we ask for support and you experience hurt. It's like you can hold that, you can be with that. It's okay. Like it's actually okay. And every experience is different, right? So we tend to have these stories where maybe in the past one time you asked for support and you got rejected, right? And so now every single time you go to ask for support, you have this idea that, oh, I'm going to get rejected. But the truth is, every single time we want to ask for support, every single experience is a brand new opportunity. A totally different possibility can come, a totally different outcome can happen, like I said with me 2 weeks ago. And so another story is, like, for me, is the vulnerability, right? Like if you're a high functioning, professional, responsible, like have your stuff together woman, right? It can feel very, very vulnerable to actually ask someone to be in a space where you really need support from somebody. And so that's another one, having the courage to be vulnerable enough to reach out and ask for support for someone. Another story is maybe you feel like you're putting a burden on somebody. I'm going to be burdening this person if I ask them for support. So there's all these stories. So I want to ask you to see if you can notice what stories or what blocks are there for you that are preventing you from maybe reaching out for support. If you really feel like you need it, if you'll know if you're needing support in your life. Well, that's not necessarily true. You might not be aware of it, but if you feel like you need support in your life, like what is it that's keeping you from asking for support? And see if you can step into a different story. So for example, with me in the story of rejection, right? So the new story is not, oh, I'm not going to get rejected, right? Because that's not true. I don't actually know what the outcome is going to be when I ask someone for support. But the new story can be something like, when I ask for support, I more fully thrive in life. I'm able to become a fuller version of who I am. I'm able to step into my power. I'm able to more fully share my gifts with the world, right? So it's like a story like that. And also knowing that you don't know what the outcome is going to be. And if it happens, and if you happen to not get the outcome you want, like, it's okay. Like, that's okay, right? You don't want to make it mean anything about you or about life. It's like you want to just be there and comfort that part of yourself that might be feeling the burn or the sting or the hurt inside. So yeah, I would like to end with just sharing about, our current culture, and something that comes up for me a lot is like comparison and competition. I notice probably maybe almost on a daily basis that I tend to compare myself with other women, right? I have all these mentors and teachers, and they're all these amazing women in the world doing all these amazing things. And I tend to have this part of me that's like comparing myself, and then also like competing, right? So it's like you want to compete with someone else, you want to be better than them. So it's like a shift from that into, for me, what I've really learned about support is it's really about empowering, igniting, inspiring, supporting, uplifting other women in your life, right? For them to become fuller versions of themselves, for them to share their gifts with the world. Like, imagine what would be possible for our world if, like, we lived in a culture where we were, and also seeing other women's greatness, right? You're looking for their greatness, and you're seeing the beauty in them. I was actually just thinking about this yesterday. It's like, what I'm noticing is the more I become, the more I am more of myself, and not like trying to fit in or whatever, the more I'm not trying to get other people to be like me. I think we kind of, it's like we go through the world like wanting people to be like us, right? We it's like, oh, this person isn't like me, so I'm gonna judge them or dismiss them or whatever. And so it's like you start to see people more authentically. You start to see more of who they are, and you start to see their beauty. And it's like you're no longer trying to get other people to be like you. You just see the beauty in their uniqueness, because we're all one, and at the same time we're all very, very, very unique. So if you can just like shifting more on empowering, uplifting, igniting the women around you, and just extending your kindness and your care, right? I mean, you could get on any mainstream social media site, and it's like, I never ever read the comments, right? You look at the people are just, it's like a constant, we've been conditioned to live in this culture where we're like criticizing, we're judging. It's like we're looking for all the things that we disagree with, that we think are wrong, instead of looking at the beauty, like, how is this a beautiful thing? And not everything in the world is beautiful, right? But it's just, it's like a shift in how you're showing up with people and where you're coming from. So I just want to encourage you, if you are somebody who has a hard time reaching out for support, to see where in your life you can reach out for more support, and what the stories or blocks are that are keeping you from doing that. Because my own experience as someone who has had a very hard time for a lot of my life not asking for support is I'm seeing the how profound it is to have support in your life. It's like, it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary, especially if you're watching my channel, you want to expand into higher potentials and possibilities of your soul. You want to share your gifts with the world. You want to help create a world that reflects truer and greater depths of cosmic consciousness and love. So I think support is really important, and because this has been very present in my life over the last month or so, I thought I would make a video on this. So I want to encourage you to write out an intention for how you can step into your power to give and receive more support in your life. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If it resonated with you, hit subscribe below, leave any comments or questions or takeaways or openings that you might have, and I really look forward to seeing you on the next video.